Nice to meet you, everybody. We can start grand tutorial again. By COVID-19, we couldn't continue that lecture, but we are very glad to return to this place. Today, number 6. Once we skip number 5, later we are going to provide number 5. But today we'd like to start from the number 6. Today is 9 ways to start blowing, or 9 ways to start making sound. So we have 9 ways. I'd like to show you like this. So we can classify in 3 groups. One is a fundamental way to start blowing, and then secondary, very calm ways to start blowing, and then third one is inside blowing. So we divide 3 groups by color. Blue one is the first one, green one is the second one, and the third one is red. So I'd like to show 9 different ways at first. First one is puha. Second one is fuha. Puha is a strong accent. And then fundamental ways of blowing is fuha. A little bit softer way, hafu. And then next, closing upper lip. And then kari by side. And kari by this side. And the inside blowing, and then inside blowing but a little bit rough sound, and then from inside blowing to outside blowing, like this. So I'd like to explain each technique. Number 1, I named it puha. When accentuating and blowing strongly at the beginning, 1, blow as usual with the shakuhachi's blowing edge. Actually, here is the blowing edge, and then this face and your face should be 90 degrees or right angle. Then use your lower lip to move it outward until no sound is heard. The inhale and close your lips. Then blow while opening the space like this, and then between the lips, and lowering the angles of the breath. So, and then blow. And then if you got sound, please stop. Please stop moving, I mean. And then blow slightly upward, and then back down to get the sound, like a puha, 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 like this. This is a traditional way of blowing hard. It can also be used for muraiki, so like this, or lower tone, like this. In these days, many people using tonguing for muraiki. That is not a traditional way. This is a traditional way for muraiki. And the next one, fuha. This is the basic way to blow a little harder, like this. or we can think this is a fundamental technique for shakuhachi. So usually we using this technique 80% in a composition. And at first, almost same, blow properly with your face at 90 degrees to shakuhachi and your face. And then use your lower lip, move it outward until no sound is heard. And then inhale, and then narrow the space between the lips. And then out, don't close your lips as number one. So we did puha, so from the closed position, but now our position is very narrow, like this, and then blow while widening the space between the lips, and then lowering the angle of the breath. So, like this, and then when you hear the sound, stop moving, like this. And if you move after you got sound, like this, the sound is getting very weak. So next, blow slightly upward, and then if you lose the sound, then back down to get the sound. And then like fuha, fuha, fuha. So please practice maybe 4 times at each note. I, ri, chi, re, tsu, ro. And this is the basic way to play the shakuhachi. So please practice this technique mainly. And the next one, third one, it's called hafu. So from the wider position to narrower position, a slightly softer way of blowing. The technique is almost same. So number one is from the closed position, next narrower position, and then next wider position. This is a number 3. So blow properly with your face at 90 degrees to the shakuhachi, and then use the lower lip to move it outward until no sound is heard, and then inhale and make the space between the lips slightly wider, and then blow while narrowing the space between the lips and lowering the angle of the breath, and then stop when you hear the sound, like this. And then blow slightly upward, and then back down to get the sound. This is a slightly softer way of blowing. So let's compare these 3 techniques. First one, puha. Second one, fuha. Third one, hafu. Like this. So let's see in this figure. First one is like this. Bang, puha, fuha. And then a little bit softer, hafu, like this. And then number 4, we'd like to have much more softer blowing. And then for that, this is a shakuhachi edge, and then this is underlip, this is overlip. And then if you blow like this, the edge of the blowing touch to the open air, and then this stream going back this way like this, and then it's going to be absorbed to this main stream, and then return, and then it become a common vortex. So the side of the stream is a very strong, sometimes very aggressive, but inside of the string is a very calm, so we should hit this part to shakuhachi edge. So we did like this, like this. So next we'd like to make much softer. So already we put the under lip here and then close over lip. So with the shakuhachi blowing edge and your face, this is a blowing edge and your face should be 90 degrees as the lower lip already straddling the blowing edge like this, and then keep the upper lip slightly open, and then while blowing gradually close the upper lip like this. This is a soft blowing method. It's used when entering softly, such as on a merry note, like this. Like maybe you know Shingetsu. At that time we have a tsunomeri. If we're using a fundamental technique for that, this is a fuha. But at that time we should use this number 4 technique. Like this. Okay, let's start from the number 5 carry to the side. So we studied number 4 like this, but we'd like to start a little bit softer sound and then go like this. But here, this one, if we're using this part, the pitch is going down too much, like this. So pitch also like this. So we should make the pitch correct, like this. So for that, we're using carry. So if we start from here, like this. So the rise of number 4 is an even weaker sound. Weak notes tend to fall in pitch. So to compensate for this, we should use carry, the first part of the note. At first, keep the shakuhachi and the left part of the face open here, and so that the lower lip is already straddling the edge of the singing mouth. So and then keep the upper lip slightly open, and then while closing the upper lip and then left part close, and then gradually increase the amount of breath and blow. Okay, next number 6. Open the lower left and carry. So if we open this part, if you put right hand lower, you should open left side. But if you put your left hand lower, you should open right side. Okay? But today I'd like to show the example for the left side. At first, this is the most difficult shakuhachi technique. It's impossible with other wind instruments. And at first, merry a little bit, and then keep the shakuhachi and the lower left part of the face open, here open, with the lower lip already straddling the edge of the shakuhachi. And upper lip slightly open, and then 5 closing upper lip, and then lower left part of the face with more curly, and then increase the amount of breath and blow a little more, like this. So very soft sound we can start, but the pitch is correct. So this is one of the most difficult technique. Okay, let's go to another group. This is a inside blowing group. This one softer tone, and then a little bit rough tone, and then deep or profound tone. So at first I'd like to introduce inside blowing. So last part I explained we should hit this part. So this stream going outside of the shakuhachi, it is called outside blowing. But if we hit this part to the edge, so we should blow like this, like this. So it's called inside blowing. And then these 3 techniques we using inside blowing. At first, simply inside blowing. This is a low and weak sound, often used for meri and nayashi in the kinko style. So we can make outside to inside. So the pitch going down, right? And then the sound a little bit softer. And then for kinko shakuhachi, meri sound, or like this, or nayashi, like this. Then so for that, we should bring the upper lip forward like this, and then pull the lower lip back like this, and then let the breath come out downward, and then bring it everything forward while blowing downward like this. So if we do like this, outside blowing is dominant, so we tend to go to outside blowing. So we cannot do this technique. So we should do like this. And then sometimes we can use double tones. Double tones means with outside blowing. So outside blowing is and the inside blowing is so we can mix. You can hear. So sometimes we can do, but single tone. So atmosphere is really different, right? So sometimes you can use double tones. And then next, rustling inner blowing. So this sound is like this. We can make it louder or stronger, and then sometimes very rough sound we can get. At first, narrow the mouth cavity and then raise the tongue and narrow the space between the plate and tongue. So like this, and then narrow the space between the tongue and the upper front teeth to make a high sound like this. And then sometimes in a small space a lot of air going, so sometimes your tongue is going to vibrate, but it's no problem. And then next, open the upper lip slightly. If you open too much, it's going to change to outside blowing. So keep the inside blowing. I'm going to do it again. Make your mouth cavity smaller. Then make your tongue up. And then close to your upper teeth. And then open the upper lip a little bit. So we can do like this for the Zen monk style shakuhachi. Or for Meri. Like this. And then sometimes we can use double tones. So if we use a single tone, double tone, the atmosphere is really different. So for the phrase like this, single tone is a, double tone is a, like this. Okay, next, number 9, the last one. This is from inside blowing to outside blowing. So this one, like this. So like a big bell in a temple. This sound like those kind of bells. So from inside to outside blowing, we start blowing from the inside blowing and then change it to blow to outside all at once. And then you can get a deep sound like a bell is produced as the various notes are passed through. However, if you listen carefully, you will hear change in pitch because of the low notes of inside blowing. And then so we cannot use fast phrase. So sometimes we can use for the beginning or something like that. If we using second technique, fuha, very simple. But if we using this one, a little bit profound. Okay, thank you very much. Today I showed 9 ways of technique for blowing. So please use these 9 techniques for the traditional composition. Probably the composition will become much more colorful. Okay, thank you very much.